Okay, guys. Uh, 8.1 for the stats class. I will warn you, the cat's right here, so she photobombs me. I don't know if I'll fix it or not. But anyway, so for chapter 8, you need some more symbols. The first one is the symbol for the total number in your population. Remember, most of the time you don't get to talk to a population, but if you're talking about like just the governors, you have a total number for that. You know every single one of them, so that number's there. It's a capital N. The average or mean for a population study is called mu. It's a funny looking Greek M. Um, if you typed mu in a paper, if you ever needed that, then somebody's going to know what you mean because it's one of the basic ones you learn in this class. The next one for population is a standard deviation. It's a sigma. It's a small letter S for the Greek alphabet. Um, it looks like a stepped on 6. So, and the last one you'll need is a population proportion, which is kind of a funny, no pointy ends P. Actually, it's a small r, but it's rho, also a Greek letter. So, for the samples, you get a different set of symbols. They're a lot, I don't know, more normal, I guess, like more low key. I always say low class, but it's not really nice. But anyway, so the symbol for a sample number, like if I talk to 5,000 people, small n is 5,000. The mean or average is x with a little bar on top of it. You just say x bar. The sample standard deviation is just the small letter s. And the sample proportion is p with a little caret on it, which is called p hat. Okay, so talking through some of the problems on these, since we don't lecture, but I do need to do a few things. Like number 9. I just start down the problem list, and every time I get to a number, it needs a symbol. So when you start down the problems, the first number you run into is 575 batteries. It even says this is a sample, so the small letter N is the symbol for 575. The next number you get to is 12.2 volts. It says that it is the mean, same thing as the average. So, and since this is already a sample, it gets the symbol X bar. 1.4 volts, it specifically says that's the sample standard deviation. It gets a small s. On 10, it tells you the total population of enrolled students. So 3,427 is a capital N. Then it also says they didn't talk to all of them. It talked to only 50. So 50 is your sample. That's the small n. Then the 10%, anything that's a percent or a fraction or a decimal is going to be your proportion. So that is p hat. Little numbers are going to be averages, standard deviations. They usually say anything that's a percentage, go with the proportion. 11, I'm not crazy about the textbook. You guys already know that. The 50,000, the text is implying that that's everybody they're talking about. They're calling that the entire population because they're immediately going to turn around and say they only surveyed, sampled, victimed, tested 200 of them. So the 200 is the small n, and that 4% is attached to that 200, so it's a p hat. Same thing on 12. 50,000 is the capital N, 200 is the small n, 328 is x bar, and 12 is small s. Alright, so 13, you actually had to read the problem. This is really quite a bit of an English class from here on out. You get 11,000 male physicians who are treated, 11,000 given placebo. That gives you a total of 22,000. That's your sample, which is a small n. The next part of that is a question. Have an opinion. You need to have an opinion on that question, which means you need to read it and understand it. The rest of it is not math. 14 is virtually identical. 50 females, that's my sample. 75.5 would be the X bar, the mean for a sample. Then I have 147 females, which is a totally different sample. So it's the same symbol. Symbols are just shortcuts. 74 is the mean for that one. And then it asks you a question. You need to have an opinion on that question. And it doesn't have to be a statistics opinion. It needs to be an opinion in a complete sentence. Alright, so I started 15, and then I remembered why I didn't do them last year. they jump right into you need to make decisions, you need to sort out different numbers, they're going to mess with you about adding vocabulary. We're not doing that. This is an intro class. You're doing introduction work, not to mention the fact we've all been kicked online when nobody wants to be online. That's enough of that. So we're going to do just the 9 through 14 and stop.